Now let's take a look at what Arizona looks like, okay? So I want you to have a visual idea of the land border between Arizona and Mexico, the state of Mexico. This here is one of the nations, the Indian nations, that own their own nation in the borders of Arizona in that little box. And that's how much land it takes up. And it touches Mexico.
Is that part of Tucson?
No, it's not part, it's it's south of Tucson. But everybody here, I'm sure you probably know that those Native American nations, those lands, those are sovereign lands. We don't have any authority over those people. That's just like us having authority over China.
Isn't that one of the reasons for having trouble building the wall? Because
This is why I'm showing you this information. Arizona-Mexico border. The Arizona-Mexico border is 372.5 miles long. 256.6 miles is federal border land.
Which means the Indians own it.
Well, let's say there was no Indians anyway. How comfortable would you be if you knew the federal government owned 254 miles of 372 miles of your land? Does that make you feel comfortable?
Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel comfortable. In Arizona, more than 85% of land belonging along the border and 62% of the land area within 100 miles is federally owned or held in trust for Native American nations. Arizona border tribes, Cocopah, Powesca, Quentin, Tohono is 62 miles long just by itself. 62 miles. This leaves 55.9 miles, 6.6% of Arizona border controlled by Arizona. Let me say that again, just in case you guys didn't pick up on that. 6.6% of the border belongs to us, we the Arizonians. So let's say you go home, okay, and you find out that the federal government came to your house and they mapped off 94% of the floor in your house. And guess what parts the federal government's going to claim? The front door, the laundry door, and the patio door. All right? And some of the kitchen, because they always like to eat us out of house and home, so they're gonna put a little piece by the refrigerator, and maybe between you and your wife, because they're always in our bed as well. So the federal government's gonna get in your bedroom as well. They're gonna be in the bathroom, but you get 6.6% of the land in your house.
That's what you need.
But the front door you don't get. So that means the federal government can bring in some people, you have no idea who they are, and bring them in through the front door, which is their land, and tell them, you know what, let these people sit down on your sofa on the family room and watch television. And because the refrigerator side belongs to the federal government, they tell you, you gotta go feed them. And if they get tired, they go sleep on half of your bed in the master bedroom. How's that sound?
Can I move my
You know, you guys look like pretty sad out here. I mean, I don't understand. Well, we'll see about the good news.
They can't go home.
We'll see. You're gonna have to endure. You don't have to endure as much. What is it, Linda?
So we have these people running for office who say they're gonna close the border, and they only closed the 59.
Well, which people? We're talking about national or federal?
We've got politicians right here in Arizona who say they're gonna finish the wall.
Well, so then what do you do when they're running for office?
How are you going to close, how are you gonna finish the wall when we only own 6.6% of the
So
border?
we need to start asking people constitutional questions instead of questions that are based on our emotions, and especially what you see on television. You know, one of my favorite quotes from Mark Twain is, if you don't read the newspapers, you're uninformed. If you do read the newspapers, you're misinformed. So a lot of times when you read the media or you listen to the media, you gotta ask yourself, what is the stuff they're not telling you? So let's take a look at Article 2, Section 10, Paragraph 4. No state, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty or tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with any state or with a foreign power. Title-owned nation is a foreign power. So even if we cannot even get involved with that nation to extend our 6% of our border into their nation without consent from Congress. How does that make you feel? You got a question?
Is the 6% already up?
No, I don't know if it's up. But let's say we put up,
What
let's,
percent is up?
oh, I have no idea. I have no idea. Well, what if you only had 6% of your gate up?
I'm just saying, we see on TV, we see pictures of a wall.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage of it is not?
Oh, I don't know.
40 miles.
40 miles is open. How many of it is controlled by us? So does it matter how long the wall is? Or does it matter who controls the wall?
So I have a tenant that lives, 6 miles from the border. So does he have, is his land, even though he owns it, belong to federal?
I don't know. Where does he live?
Lives down by Nogales?
Do you know anything about Nogales? Well, you should find out. I'm just giving you guys the broad strokes here. You can look at the details as to how long the border is or the wall. But anything that the federal government creates, the federal government can destroy it. So if Trump builds a wall, Biden can he can tear it down, and the next guy can build it. How do you guys feel about your state sovereignty? How does your security feel when the federal government, whether it's Trump or Biden, makes decisions on immigration, and you don't have a word to say in it? That's the real problem. Yes, ma'am.
Is the federal government talking to the tribes, or is Arizona talking?
Well, the question is not whether they should. The question is, why aren't we doing it? I got 5 minutes, so we got to run through this. This is all the federal lands within the respective states of the union. Take a look at that. 48% is owned by the federal government in Arizona. Look at it. Look at Nevada. Is Nevada a state? That's a neighborhood. That's like 15%. What is that? That's a city. Look at Alaska. 69% is owned by the federal government. How many people think that the federal government is on your side? You're living in a dream world if you think so. This is the land ownership. All these different colors and whatnot, those represent all these different entities that have land within the borders of Arizona that do not belong to us.
What does it belong to?
Something to think about. Who does it? What does it matter? It belongs to Mickey Mouse. What does it matter who it belongs to? It doesn't belong to us. That's the only thing that matters. How can we be a sovereign nation when we don't have control of our own borders? That's the only thing that matters.
So how do we get control?
I don't care who owns it. All I know is I don't own it. Let's move on because I'm running low on time. So what is the constitutional remedy to correct the situation? Elect federal congressmen who introduce legislation to transfer all federal lands to the respective states under Article 4, Section 3, Paragraph 2, as well as give their consent to a compact between Arizona and the Hodaham Nation to build a wall on their land according to Article 1, Section 10. Elect national legislators who introduce legislation to revitalize the Arizona militia to perform its constitutional duty to repel invasions. That's in the Constitution, by the way. And Article 1, Section 8, which is border security. Unfortunately, there's a lot of Republicans in LDA team that for some reason they think border security is different from immigration. And I don't know where they got that idea from. Remove all provisions of the National Guard from our national constitution and Arizona revised statutes. That's the remedy. Arizona militia, not the National Guard, under Article 16. We have, right now, we got about 1.2 million militiamen in Arizona. China has 2 million people in their entire military. India's got 1.4, Russia's got 900,000, 358,000 in Mexico. Do you think we got enough manpower to secure the border?
What is that 1.2 that?
No, this is how many people militiamen in Arizona. We got 1.2 million. Do you think we got enough manpower to secure our borders?
What does militiamen mean here?
The citizens between 18 and 45 were able-bodied.
Okay. It doesn't mean that they're trained.
They're what?
It doesn't mean they're trained. Militiamen
No.
just means that
The Constitution requires us to be trained. Unfortunately, we have a national legislature and our governor that doesn't believe in this. So if we got 372 miles, which was actually our land, that's about 1,966 feet of land. You put one guy under 20 feet, that's only 98,000 men needed at one time. And we've got 1.2 million men and women to be able to secure the border. So when you think about it, that's the remedy. So when you find somebody, anybody who wants to run for a congressional seat, such as a senator or a House of Representative, guess what questions you should be asking them?
What are you gonna do for me?
Not what, well, not get our land back. Remember we talked about that?
This is MAAP World Talk Show for the live feed. We'll be right back. Don't leave. We'll come back with a different segment.
And I only know it was
So
one guy.
Scott Neely,
I think he was running.
Michael will be right back, and others that are watching it live.
Right back there.
We shall
You're gonna ask him
return
that question.
in few minutes.
Other than that, I'll let you guys go because I know. I've been
We'll be
going
right
on
back
the
with
stage.
the
If you
other
wish to
segment on
ask-
live
if you
stream.
wish to ask me other questions about this issue, I'll be here afterwards and we can chit chat about it, okay?